right, hello everybody and welcome to A2. I am your host, Mufti Apis, aka Apostate Prostate, aka Apostate Prophet. I hope I didn't say all of this for no reason. I hope you can hear me now. Yes, I think you should be able to hear me. Tell me if everything sounds good, if everything looks okay. Tell me if I look sharp. I don't mean as in looking good. I just mean like the picture, if it's sharp or not. That's it. So, hi everybody and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Again, let's be serious. What is this, man? Why can I not just stop being like this? By the way, I want to rename this into A2 from now on. I think that sounds very good. A2. That could be Apostate Tuesday or Apostate Tuesdays. What do you think? Does it sound good? A2. A2. I think that sounds very nice. A2. A2. Hi everybody and welcome to A2. A2. This is your host, Mufti Apis. A2 with Apostate Prostate. A2. Or it could be Tuap. Like Tuesday with Apostate Prophet. I don't know, whatever. What's up, everybody? How are you doing? Someone said, Wallahi, you're ugly. Oh, I'm so offended. I'm so offended. I'm so offended. Why did you say that to me? I wanted to look good. Wait, I'll go and try to look better. I'll be right back. All right, okay. So, I want to do this on a regular basis. I want to answer questions. Want to go through some basic questions that everybody has. Want to listen to suggestions, to advices, to criticism. Oh, here, my wife is here, and she said I should do it Taco Tuesdays with AP. That sounds good. Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. I'll think about that. It could be Taco Tuesday Enchilada, because, Inshallah sounds like enchilada. Inshallah with Taco Tuesday with AP, whatever. It's getting very confusing. Okay, anyway. Today is Tuesday. At least that's true for me and for many other people. For some others who are less important, it is no longer Tuesday. It is meanwhile Wednesday, because they live in less important parts of the world, like over there in, what is that country called, Australia, where people for some reason live. Why do you live there? Move somewhere else. Move it to a better country where you can actually, where half the country is not, where half the country doesn't look like Mars. But nothing against Australia. I love Australia. And I love Australians, of course, I do. And I hope everyone is having a good day. Okay, now let's get into answering questions. I hope you're not offended by anything that I say. How could you possibly be offended by anything that I say? How could you possibly take me seriously? Okay. So last week, when we were live, and I talked to everybody, and I took questions, and I responded to these many questions. I realized that afterwards, when I looked through the live stream, it looked like my responses to many of the questions that you had were, quite short. I do that because I see that so many questions come in, so many regular questions, so many super chat questions, and then I want to take enough time and respond to everything that comes in here. And since I don't want to, I don't want to miss any questions. I don't want anyone to have their question unanswered. I try to give quick responses, but then the content of my responses suffers. Of course, someone could come and say, well, what can we expect from your responses anyway? They suck. Of course they will be short. What important stuff do you possibly have to say? And I agree with that. But still, I think maybe it's beneficial to give longer responses to some questions, especially if they're very deep and if they're about very, very significantly important things, such as what's the best position to poop in Islam according to the Hadith, for example. That's a very important, significantly profound question which deserves a long answer that shouldn't be confined within the limits of just 1 minute or 2 minutes. That should be like that. Just that response should be like 15 minutes long. We need to talk about the whole logistics, physics, human nature, and all that stuff. Okay, so Low Earth Surface said, any more debates planned? The thing is, people don't want to debate me. I don't know what it is. I think they don't like me. I think they don't think that I'm worthy of debating. I don't know what it is, but I have made debate offers to Daniel Hikikichu. He rejected, and he came and talked some complete garbage about cars and slaves instead, and then went away and said he would never debate me because I'm not good enough and I'm too dishonest and too dangerous. Then Mohammed Hijab came and he rejected the debate because he doesn't want to publicly talk about whether Islam is the truth or not, because it would kind of be problematic for him to talk about that stuff. Then I made an offer to this guy called what's it called? What's this guy called? Farid or whatever his name is. The guy who said there's nothing wrong with that there's nothing wrong with violating a child as long as the parents agree. That guy said he would only reject me in person, but currently he doesn't have any money to fly to America, which is why he cannot debate me. I offered it to somebody else, so no one is accepting it. I don't know. I really want to sit here and have proper discussions. I want to have productive conversations with Muslims. I really want this to happen, but for some reason these people have an issue. I don't know. Someone said 2-minute silence for Mimi Hijab. Yeah. Please, if you want to go ahead. I will not take 2 minutes right now, even if it would be funny. I think 2 minutes is too long of a joke, although I never get tired of jokes. Okay, so that's much to debates. But hey, to be serious for a second, if anybody wants to debate me, I previously said that I don't like debating people because I don't like debating Muslims, because they turn this whole thing into personal attacks and terrible personal fights, get very dark, very dramatic, very ridiculous. I don't like fights, I don't like fighting with people. I don't like getting into these personal dramas, getting into a personal mess. And they are known to do just that. But if anybody really wants to sit down and have a debate with me and have a productive conversation with me, I'm completely open to it. We can do it online. We don't have to spend any money. We don't have to spend anything at all. There are many people who would like to host such a debate. So just contact me. Just let me know. I will be happy to do that. I always prefer the topics. Is Islam the truth? That is my number one topic. I really want somebody who supports Islam's truth claim to come and discuss that with me. Another thing is the scientific mistakes or miracles of the Quran. And another thing would be certain issues with the Kaaba, for example. But yeah, if you want to have a debate with me, hey, I am here. I am here. Man. I'm getting really Americanized here. Okay. Man, spamming people. All right. Sandwich said, when is your video on MH going to be out? Soon. It's going to be a little bit brutal. They asked for it. I'm sorry. Truth Alone Triumphs said, Apostate Prophet, how to get a Muslim to watch your videos. I shared your videos with him, but he just doesn't want to watch. I really want him to watch your videos. Well, I guess there's not much that you can do to really make somebody watch something that they don't want to watch, especially if it's something concerning Islam. And Muslims learn all the time that they should not listen to critics, they should not listen to non-Muslims, and they're very sensitive about this stuff. It's not like other religions, it's not like other ideologies or whatever you want to compare it to. But I guess, I don't know, you could just keep trying, convince them to just have a look at it, appeal to reason. What could possibly be wrong about looking at something? What could possibly be wrong to be confronted with different ideas, with doubts, with criticism? If you are a human, if you have a faith, and if you believe that you were created with flaws, then what could possibly be wrong about sitting down and looking at into whether your beliefs are maybe also flawed, which could be completely normal since you are flawed according to your beliefs? What could possibly be wrong? So please, just sit down and watch this video. Please sit down, just read this article. Sit down, listen to this criticism. Sit down, read this book with an open mind. You know, these are just some approaches that one could do with somebody who really resists doubts and questions. And that's how I did it. People are resistant to that because people don't want their thoughts and beliefs to be challenged because it disturbs your comfort. But that's really the only way. You have to allow yourself to be disturbed, and you have to allow somebody else. You have to convince somebody else that they should allow themselves to be disturbed, to be challenged. What could be possibly wrong with that? All right. Mayhem Mad said, Apostate Prophet, please come live with Asif Muhyiddin. I don't know who Asif Muhyiddin is. Asif Muhyiddin is a Bangladeshi atheist and secular activist. Okay, never heard of him. But yeah, sure. I mean, I haven't been contacted or anything at all, but I would always love to interact with people. Slovak Vid said, are your siblings very religious? I wouldn't want to talk about them. I don't want to talk about people who wouldn't want their thoughts and their lives to be made public here. So yeah, I can't really comment on that. But my parents have always been very religious, and they still are. That's common knowledge that should be known. Murtad Skeptic said, what madhab and creed did you follow as a Muslim? I was a Sunni Muslim who followed the Hanafi madhab, and I was also my parents were Sufi Muslims, so they followed a Sufi order. They were part of a Sufi order, and I was only a regular Sunni Hanafi Muslim for a long time. When I became religious, for a while I joined the Sufi order too and tried to practice Sufism. Then I left it and just focused on Hanafi Sunni Islam instead. There is often a misconception of people thinking that Sufi Islam is not part of Sunni Islam or is something different, but that's not entirely true. Even if people are Sufis, even if people follow Islamic mysticism, they are still Sunni Muslims, if they are Sunni Muslims, and they still belong to the Hanafi school, for example, or other schools. But yeah, that's what was the case with me. Let's see. Super chats. What is a super chat? Stojkovic, as always. Stojkovic, thank you for the super chat. If Muhammad Hijab doesn't want to face the Islam is the truth topic, therefore he has to doubt Islam himself, making him a hypocrite. Poor guy. Believe me, I'm working on something that will be kind of, it may be a little bit mean. It will be destructive. It may be a little bit mean, but hey, I warned these people. But I will make a good summary of that whole stuff. Let's not focus on terrible people right now. Ex-Born Again made a super chat and had said nothing. Just made a super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. And Crazy Animal Lovable. Crazy Anime Lovable. Crazy Anime Lovable. Okay. Made a super chat of €5 and said, Ridvan, can you talk about the Armenia-Azerbaijan dilemma? Bizim için acı bir olay. Türkiye'den gelme Ermeni Süryani olarak. You are amazing, never stop. That was in Turkish, that means it is a saddening situation for us as people, as Armenian, Assyrian people who come from Turkey. I don't really know what to say about it. I followed the conflict briefly. It is Azerbaijan has had this endless conflict with Armenia over a disputed area, which is Karabakh or Nagorno-Karabakh, and it has always been a disputed region, one of certain disputed regions over which Armenia and Azerbaijan have always fought over decades. They have accused each other of having committed genocides and massacres. And just recently, something again has erupted, and this whole big fight has started again. This time, Turkey took advantage of the situation. Turkey, which is currently trying to be a regional power, has taken advantage of the situation and is now getting involved in this conflict. And it is just a big political mess. It doesn't really I mean, where you are in that conflict totally depends on where your allegiance with which state is. No side is telling the truth about what is happening. They're just being completely loyalistic to their own side and intolerant and militaristic against the other. And I don't really know what to say about that. Just would wish that Erdogan and Turkey didn't get involved in this conflict, because they are only making matters worse. Erdogan is really trying to be a big power, trying to, impose Turkish power onto the region and onto the world. And I wish that didn't happen, but yeah, that's just happening right now too. All right. Someone with a can I read that? Nikolai Yakubov. I read it. Wow. I learned the alphabet like 10 years ago. You have got nice content. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Ahmed Iqbal said, AP, were you a Muslim before? Yes, I was a Muslim before. I'm an ex-Muslim, so I was a Muslim for a long time. I left Islam how long ago? 2014. That's when I left Islam. That's 6 years ago. That's brutal. Sometimes it feels like it was just a few years ago, but hey, it's 6 years. Are there important questions? Someone said, what's your favorite meal? Who cares what my favorite meal is? No, seriously, I appreciate the question, Luther's mutter, but I don't know, it's a completely unimportant issue. But recently I actually like Chinese food very much. Chinese food, I love it. Ulimi Labi said, when did you learn Cyrillics? Is it called Cyrillic or Cyrillic? That's something that I've always wondered and never looked up. I learned it, I don't know, I was interested in Russian over like 8 years ago or so, and then I learned the alphabet. I learned a little bit of Russian, and yeah, that's where that is from. I kind of know how to slowly read the alphabet. I know some words, I know the basic structure of Russian. But that's it. I did the same thing with Japanese, with Arabic, more deeply, due to religious studies, but also with some other languages. I don't know. I'm a nerd who cannot focus on one thing. Kola Vard said, Apostate Prophet, talk about slavery in Islam and arguments of apologists about it. I recently made a video about this because it was relevant to current discussions, because of the whole, discussions of Black Lives Matter and slavery and, Black history and all that stuff in America. I recently made a video touching on that topic, which I called Muhammad was a slave master, or slave owner. Muhammad was a slave master maybe, I don't know. I made a video about that, but yeah, basically, in Muhammad's time, the Arabs had slaves. It was common among the local Arabs to have slaves, and the slaves were usually sub-Saharan black Africans. And Muhammad came as a prophet who kind of seemed like, he kind of appeared as a promising character who would give slaves proper rights, or would save slaves from torture, from disadvantage, and maybe even abolish slavery. But what happened is that never really happened. All that happened was that slaves were promised to be treated better than before, and it was encouraged from now on to free a slave as a good deed, or if you have done something bad, it was considered a good deed to free a slave to atone for your sins, for your bad acts. But Islam never abolished slavery. Indeed, Muhammad kept enslaving people. Muhammad went to wars and enslaved people, had slaves as laborers, as servants at home, and as sex servants. And he also had black slaves among those. Some of them are mentioned in the Hadith. And after Islam's expansion into the world, this whole slavery continued. The influx of slavery through wars kept continuing. It never stopped. Islam never intended to end slavery and to stop it, to minimize it. Islam's intention was always to fight the world and to have this constant inflow of slaves into the Islamic empires, or into the Islamic empire, which is supposed to be a one big, strong entity. And so that continued over decades, centuries, over a millennium. And indeed, the Arab slave trade as it is called, some people call it the African or the Muslim slave trade or the Islamic slave trade, or more generally it's called the Arab slave trade, was actually the first great slave trade in the world. It was bigger than the transatlantic slave trade. It lasted longer than the transatlantic slave trade, and it ended much later. So many Muslim countries still had slaves 50 or 100 years ago, when much of the Western world had already abolished it long ago. And yeah, there is no excuse to this. Now, I would say that if you look at it historically, slavery had a purpose in human history, far back in human history. Tribes fought each other, subjugated each other, enslaved each other, and all that. But you have to consider that Islam has a claim that it is a timeless truth, that it presents us an absolute objective morality that is not only applicable to its own time, but also to all time, to the end of time. So the morals and the laws of Islam should be applicable then and today. If Muhammad had slaves back then, and if he practiced that, then it should also be applicable today by Islam's logic and standards, which means Islam justifies slavery in today's time, which is why some Muslim apologists cannot deny that slavery exists in Islam or that it should exist. And some even go out and say that it should come back, that slavery should be practiced under certain circumstances. So slavery is indeed part of Islamic history and the Islamic religion. There is absolutely no way to indicate that Islam is against slavery or that Islam wants to, end slavery or anything like that. That is very much the summary of slavery in Islam. Now we could go very much into whether that is just or unjust, but that's a whole different issue. Of course, no reasonable person could come out today in today's world and say, "Hey, slavery completely makes sense. Yeah, we should bring slavery back. We should bring slavery back and enslave groups of people after fighting them." No reasonable person can say this. This is ridiculous. Yeah. I hope that answers the question. Ellen Nixon said, AP, please host a discussion with Cosmic Skeptic. I would love to. I really like listening to Cosmic Skeptic. I think it's very rare that I listen to somebody and I'm really impressed by their way of thinking. Usually I don't watch videos and I'm not impressed with individuals, but Cosmic Skeptic, that guy is smart. I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's a very good candidate to discuss complex matters. Someone who can offer new perspectives to complicated discussions. I would love to have a conversation with him. Yeah, sure. Maybe I'll look into that. Castle Legacy said, AP, have you ever considered becoming Christian? I have, and I have decided not to. Simply because I don't believe in God, and because I don't believe that, I was not convinced that Christianity tells me the truth about the problems of life, the reality, the solution to our problems in life. The big questions about life and death and before and after. I simply don't. I wasn't convinced that Christianity tells us the truth, which is why I did not become a Christian. For example, I cannot believe that there is a God who is all-knowing, almighty, good, who is just, and that he created humankind, and that he created this temporary life and this heaven and hell for humankind, which is an idea that was not even that fundamental to Christianity at the very beginnings. The part about, heaven and hell after temporary life and all that stuff. And I'm not convinced that the scripture of Christianity is authentic, that its historicity can be verified, and that the stuff that it teaches us is actually accurate and reliable. In fact, I would even say that certain Muslim scriptures, certain Muslim texts are more reliable than the fundamental Christian texts. And when I don't trust those Muslim texts, how could I possibly trust the Christian texts? So there is a fundamental problem in the reliability of Christianity to me, and also the message of Christianity. On the other hand, I think Christianity is a much more reasonable religion than many others in the world, and it's also a very efficient religion. I would argue for that. And I really like Jesus. We don't know what Jesus actually said, or how he actually lived, who he actually was. But I don't look at who he actually was. I just look at the character that we have in those books. And that character sounds like a very awesome character as a religious character in comparison to many others. But yeah, I guess that's kind of I think that's a more detailed response than I have ever given to the question of Christianity so far. Okay. James SC made a super chat and said of £20 and said, do you get many messages from ex-Muslims saying you influenced them to stop believing in Islam? What kind of topics do they most often bring up, saying it made a difference to them leaving? I get many of them. I used to save many of them in the past. Then at some point I realized there was no point in saving them. I would blur out the names and all that and save them and just, kind of collect them as kind of a motivating message to show to others. But then I thought, I don't know, I just lost track of all of that. But yeah, I do get those. The thing is, people are really different, and it's really people are affected, influenced by different forms of approaches and topics. Some people are more convinced when I or somebody else talks about the inconsistencies in Islamic scripture, such as the scientific mistakes or the logical flaws in the Quran or in the Hadith. Others are others listen more to moral conversations, moral discussions. So it really differs. But I feel like the most impactful work has been videos that focus on Islamic theology and scripture rather than on morality. Although morality is always easier and more kind of engaging to talk about. Yep. There was a super chat that I missed somewhere. Oh, there are many super chats. How do I not see these? Strange. Tales from a Nightmare official said in a super chat of 50 Swedish crowns, hold in the narrative by Tales from a Nightmare, the heavy metal song about the golden shower boy Mimi Hijab and his nurse Alidawa. It's on YouTube. I'll check it out after this one. I'll keep it in mind. Thank you. I have to drink some water. I feel very dry. Okay. Also have to drink some blood. I drink blood here on a live stream. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. This is pomegranate blood. King Rich said in a super chat of €2, how is your German now? Recently I was thinking about how my German is becoming rusty because I haven't really talked about it. I haven't really spoken German sufficiently over the decade, over the years. But I think it's still pretty good. I don't know. I would like to. I should sometimes go live with somebody and speak in German, or I should have a show with somebody in German. That would be nice. Maybe I could get used to speaking German again. Yeah, but it's not too bad, but it's kind of rusty. Ex-Born Again made a super chat and said, would you please limit Q&A sessions to particular topics in each session? It's hard to organize. I'm not a good organizer. I'm not the best of planners. Not like Allah, who is the best of deceivers. So I don't know how I could really organize a particular session, a particular topic for a particular Q&A session. I could do that if I made these things shorter with more organization as said. But this way right now kind of maybe works. I don't know. I could go into all kinds of... I would like to be surprised and would like to be inspired and talk about whatever people want me to talk about. I like that. Charlie Walter said... I don't know why why I have a screw in my hand here. I feel like I'm stabbing myself. Charlie Walter made a super chat of PLN25. Is that Polish something? What is PLN? I'm interested in PLN currency. What is PLN? Poland zloty. Is that how you say it? 25. And said, was there a point when you thought I should stop talking about Islam because of all the hate, threats, etc.? If there was, how did you deal with it? All the time. I always think I should stop talking about Islam. No, sometimes I think I even posted about that earlier. But just recently, there was a day I wanted to sit down and I wanted to work on a specific topic for hours, and I just didn't do it. I just didn't sit down and focus. And I thought to myself, man, why is it true? I mean, why is this the case that I have to sit down and put so much effort, put so much time, put so many words into explaining that something so ridiculously idiotic as Islam is idiotic, you know? That something so obviously stupid is stupid. So that's sometimes why I think, man, I'm really demotivated right now about this matter. I don't feel discouraged by the hate that I get. In fact, I feel even more encouraged when I get hate to talk about what a dangerous and terrible and hateful idea Islam is. But sometimes I feel like, hey, I messed with this when I was a Muslim. Do I really want to go on and mess with this and suffer with this after leaving Islam? But then I also feel like, hey, I have a mission. I like this. I like the stuff that I'm doing. I like to tell people, hey, there's something wrong about this. I like to tell people, hey, this is stupid. I like to sometimes just tell people, hey, this is stupid, you know, whatever it is. And I feel like Islam is a good target for that, because Islam really is stupid. And and not only stupid, there are many things that are stupid, but Islam is more than that. Islam is just, you know, it's hateful, it's violent, it's people suffer from it. Humanity suffers from it. And that, I hope, answers the question, dear Charlie Walter. Thank you so much for your super chat. Moving on. Cosmic Stardust said, AP, will you tear the Quran page where it calls non-Muslims as najis, filth? That's a good idea. I was thinking of which, if I ever make a protest again, and I know I will, and I know exactly for what and why and how, I just don't know when yet, then I should probably have a good compilation of specific Quran chapters and verses, and that maybe is one of those that I could add to that. So that's a good idea. I appreciate that. Cosmic Stardust. Okay. Got it said, Apostate Prophet, what happened in your life that you turned this way against Islam? Who hurt you? Please just be honest. Who was bad towards you? I see what you mean. I get that you're a Muslim. I see what you mean. I know you would like to think that the problem is not Islam. The problem is me personally. And it must be that it is not Islam that is in any way problematic, but that I somehow had a bad experience with Islam and with certain people of Islam, certain people in the name of Islam, which made me react in an angry way against Islam. But hey, that's really not it. That's not the problem. That's not the issue. It cannot be a coincidence that so many people out there beside me. I may be I may feel very strongly and express myself very strongly with this because I just don't care about all those people who don't want me to criticize Islam. But there are so many more people beside me who were once Muslims and who don't like it and who really hate it, who feel much worse about it than I do. I get messages of people who are really so mad about Islam, and they say, thank you for speaking for us. There are people who, if they started speaking, they would say such things that everybody needs to hear, but that are also so dark. This is not about personal experiences. This is about Islam. Or even if it is about personal experiences, people are different. People do not have to like Islam. People do not have to live under Islam. Some people are simply not made for this. And I'm saying made in a not in a literal way. Some people are just not naturally that way. Some people don't want to be and cannot be part of Islam. Islam is not natural. It's not good. It's not great. It's simply not a natural thing to simply go with Islam and to apply Islam to every individual out there. It is not something good and easy for everyone to follow. And people have every right to leave it and to also be against it because simply they don't like it, they don't want to practice it, they don't agree with it. That is it. But thank you for the question, got it. Thank you for really asking the question. I appreciate it. Is this a thing? 265 said, Apostate Prophet, what's your thought on CANZUK? What is CANZUK? What is CANZUK? I have no idea what that is. Commonwealth free. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not informed about this. Big oh, sad AP. You look very Chad. Thanks. uh, Thank you. Rick Maldu made a super chat and didn't say anything, but I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Or King Rich made a super chat again of €5 and said, "How can the Muslim text be more reliable than Christian text when the text of the Quran is copies of the stories in the Christian text?" Well, it's not about the stories, the contents, and how believable the contents and the stories in the book are. It is rather about the historicity of the books themselves. Like, it is probably more believable that the people who narrated Hadith, reports from or about Muhammad, are indeed people who actually said those things, and that the Quran was maybe in a way the way that it is right now. It is at least to me more believable, easier to believe that than to believe that the New Testament, for example, was certainly written by those specific people at a specific time. We don't have much proof to really verify the authorship of the texts of Christianity, which is one big issue that Christianity has and always has had. So it's not about the message, it's about the authenticity of the text itself, the historicity of the text itself. James SC made a super chat and said, Muslim apologists hate having to debate the fact that Islam contains tons of errors and has no objective evidence in favor of it. They are much more comfortable debating, say, jihad or Aisha's age, because those topics don't directly question whether Islam is true. In my opinion, the most important thing is to drive home that Muslims have no objective evidence for Islam and it's just a faith continues, because they won't be able to justify enforcing Sharia law on other people when they know they have no evidence for it. At that point, Islam will become like Christianity. Worse. Those are 3 super chats. Thank you, James SC. Made 3 super chats to send this big message. But yeah, that was my entire point, and that will be my point in the future. I will point this out in following analysis of Muslim apologists and why they reject to have a debate on the question, is Islam the truth? The problem is really, it is, as you say, it is simple for them to talk about matters like jihad, to talk about Aisha's age, to talk about moral issues that people have with Islam, to talk about death penalties, apostasy laws, and all these things. These are up to discussions, up to morality. They get a kick out of defending those things according to their worldview. But it is hard to sit down and actually discuss logically, with evidence, whether Islam tells us the truth or not, because that includes many things that are problematic for the average Muslim, including the history of the Kaaba, the history of stones in Arabia, many of the textual inconsistencies and the incomplete text of the Quran, many of Muhammad's claims that are completely false and ridiculous, Islam's scientific flaws. There are so many issues which Muslims will not be ready to comfortably discuss in public and debate. This is a problematic matter for Islamic apologetics, which is why they would love to talk with me forever about apostasy laws, but they are very, very careful about whether Islam is the truth or not. Mork123 said, AP lost me there. He trusts the Hadith. I don't trust the Hadith. In fact, I think that many of them are complete garbage. But I'm saying that the Hadith, look, I would even say that many of the Hadith are more reliable than the Quran, because the Quran relies on Hadith in its authenticity. In order to conclude and prove that the Quran is indeed historically verifiable, is historically authentic, that the Quran that we have now is indeed the Quran that Muhammad spoke to the people in his surrounding, in order to verify and prove that, we have to look at the Hadith and look at what Muhammad's companions said about the revelation of the Quran and its compilation. So yeah, the Hadith are actually, in a way, or not all of them, but some of them are actually in a way more reliable than the Quran. And if you dump the Hadith, if you throw them out, then the Quran falls apart, which is why you cannot lose the Hadith if you want to defend Islam. That's the issue. And that's where Islam basically defeats itself. The Hadith are not very reliable, and if the Hadith are not very reliable, because they also contradict each other on many accounts, then how can you trust the Quran? How can you trust that the Quran was actually this book that was revealed to this guy, not this guy, and that it, that people preserved it in its original form? Didn't I turn slow mode on? How is somebody able here to make one comment after the other? What? I turned slow mode on earlier, but it didn't apply apparently. I am very deeply sorry. I have changed that as of now. Slow mode is on. Send a message every 20 seconds. Good. Awesome. Okay. I have to hide. I hit the person entirely. Sorry. I have to hide somebody if they spam. Okay. Now let's move on. John Smithy said, Apostate Prophet, what are your thoughts on Muslims banning the book Culture of Critique on Amazon? Am I not up to date with what is going on recently? Is that something that has happened that I have no idea about? The Culture of Critique series. The Culture of Critique. Kevin McDonald. Is that it? I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know about this issue. I have no idea about it. Tell me more. Inform me. I would like to look into that. Okay. Let's see. More questions, comments, deep thoughts. Let's talk about the meaning of life. Let's talk about morality. Let's talk about where we all came from. Let's talk about where we are going. Let's talk about what we are doing here. Let's talk about... Not Your Dad made a super chat of $2 Canadian and said, please never stop your work. Thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. I hope I will never stop my work. Or at least I will do this as far as I can see right now. I mean, I kind of have different aims, different goals for the future. Like I would like to work in psychology, for example, which is why I like to study psychology. I'm very interested in it. And but there is still so much time for that. But till then, things are going very well here. I am, I like to do what I'm doing right now. So at the moment, I will not stop, even if I sometimes feel pretty dark about what I'm doing and dealing with such disgusting matters. Hey, buddy. My dog is here. He's next to me. Okay. Yep. Let me get back to the super chats. X-Born again made a super chat and said, is there any single argument that will make Muslims rethink their faith? There are some arguments that really hit some people hard. And I noticed that, of all the criticism, of all the videos that I made, of all the topics that I talked about, some of the strongest arguments from which I, number one, to which Muslim apologists didn't respond, or mostly didn't respond, or didn't respond very well. Number two, about which I received a lot of, messages from Muslims themselves, from questioning Muslims. And number three, about which I received messages from ex-Muslims who said, hey, this is really amazing. One of those topics is the topic of Allah's name, Allah and Yahweh, whether Allah is the same God as Yahweh, and how Allah got his name wrong. That is one of my major videos on the channel. That is in fact my favorite video on my channel to say that right here. Allah gets his name wrong is my popular video on my channel. So that was one of the most hard-hitting arguments. If you question the origins and the name of Allah. Another thing is the historicity of the Kaaba. That is something that Muslims really struggle with. Another thing is like an issue about the two Marys mentioned in the Quran, for example, where the Quran seemingly doesn't understand that there are different Marys in the Bible and where it starts confusing them. That one is quite hard hitting because the responses to that are very insufficient. And there are some matters like this. But as said, some people may not like to go into this and may more be affected by the moral aspects and the moral problems of Islam because they live in the 21st century. They are under the influence of modern ethics, of the Western way of living life. They appreciate and tolerate people and differences, and then they are confronted with what Islam, their religion, actually says about the world, about people around them and things around them, and then they just think, do I really want to believe in this? What should I do? The bad thing is that some people also then become more radical while others turn away from Islam. Yep. That's, I hope, answers the question. Shivam Novagarkar said, you are very brave. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hassan Ali said, are you gay? No, I'm not gay. Nope, I am not. Never have been. I know that's not how it works, but no, I'm not. SSSSSSSS Top Motion said, give me a reason to leave Islam. Watch my How Allah got his name wrong video. Please, go and watch it. After this. Aldo Chamulo said, AP, do you make videos in Turkish? I intended to. I have a Turkish channel. I feel very bad about that. I wanted to publish a video there every month, but I haven't published one in like 3 months. What was I thinking? But I may publish something there soon again. Right now I'm preparing a video for the Turkish Atheist Association, which asked me to make videos for them. And I'm working with them, and I will publish a video about my beliefs in God, for example. That will soon come. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. Anything that I haven't responded to? Manenza made a super chat and said of 50 Norwegian krones. NOK always looks like North Korea. What do you think about Maajid Nawaz? He seems very reasonable. He gives me hope for the future. I appreciate what Maajid Nawaz does. Najid. I appreciate what he does. He also recently came in support of me on Twitter, which I appreciated very much. He tries to have open and honest conversations with people about belief and disbelief, about Islam and modernity, about liberalism and all these matters. He's an open-minded guy who kind of tries to tackle Islamic fundamentalism as a reformed Muslim. And I appreciate his efforts, although I think they're not very, I don't know, it's hopeless to change Islam and Muslims from within that much. But if it succeeds, even a little bit, I appreciate that, and I appreciate that he makes a difference in his own way. I would love to have a talk with him sometime. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. What was that? Where was that? Michael Gilmore said in a super chat of $5, can you comment on the current fighting between Armenia and Azerbaijan? Is this over land or religious differences? It's both. Of course, it is religion that so violently and severely divides these two people. It is also, of course, ethnic identity and history that divides them. Azerbaijan has a claim to lands from its past, which is kind of a rather questionable past, where Armenia also has claims based on a much longer past. But yeah, it is a matter of ethnic differences and also of religious differences. Definitely, religion is definitely involved, and it is always part of the conversation. Religion, both on the Armenian side and also on the side of Azerbaijan and Turkey, for example. I just feel like it is so unnecessary. The whole fight is so unnecessary, so completely unnecessary. Okay, let's see. Who is this? Sorry, I was just looking at a deleted comment and I was trying to figure out why it was deleted. Domestic guy said, Apostate Prophet, what is your opinion about Christians saying the Holy Spirit is using yourself to guide men to the truth? Is it fine to you? I mean, people can say it. People can say it. Yeah. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with religious beliefs. As long as they're not imposed on me. Of course, I don't believe that it works that way, and Christians don't agree that things work my way and that things work the way that I believe they work. So there is the difference and the disagreement. But I don't have a problem with that. I just think I do. I, for example, criticize Islam for reasons that are entirely secular and based on reason, based on what I think is good and reasonable for me, for the world, for the future. So yeah, if other people want to believe that that is somehow good for their religion or in the name of their religion, then they are free to believe so. I appreciate that. Why not? I also appreciate it when a Muslim sits down and prays to Allah, for example, even though I don't appreciate the religion itself, which is a rather bad religion. Okay, I need to drink something. Float Glucker said, AP, what do you think of the idea of reincarnation in certain Shia sects, such as Druze and Alawites? I haven't ever studied it very deeply, so I cannot really say very much about it. It's just one more unfounded belief, I would say. But that's all I could really say about it. I mean, it's not something that I can really talk very deeply about. Optimus Prime said, Apostate Prophet, do you think Turkey will become Islamic? It is only the current government that is an Islamist government and that is trying to Islamicize the country, the nation, and the people even more. But I do not believe for a second that Islam will ever abandon secularism and turn into an Islamic country or an Islamic government. That is not possible. The population of Turkey would not be okay with that. That would be, all hell would break loose. While you're here and while I'm taking a drink of water because my throat is dry as hell, please like the stream to minimally help with the stream. Leave a like, please. I appreciate it. Please leave a like, please. Please like the stream. Okay. Now I need to drink blood. Okay. All right. Loki said, Ridvan, do you eat pork now? Occasionally, yeah. I have no problem with it. It's actually very, very funny. When I left Islam, for a long time I still had a problem with eating pork. Not because I consciously thought it was bad or it was dangerous or anything. So it was not something that I actually actively thought about. It was just I was so indoctrinated with the fear and the disgust of pork that that even if I had it in front of me, even when I had it in front of me, and I didn't have like a little bit of faith in Islam left, I was still kind of careful with the pork. I was like, should I eat it? Like there was this irrational, weird phobia, this paranoid feeling. I remember I was in the Netherlands for business, and they were having, like, the company was having breakfast, and I sat down, and there were a lot of pork products, and I was so careful, and I was like, can I do this? And I thought so long about, like, why am I hesitating? What is it? There is nothing wrong with it. Why am I hesitating? So I started eating it, but I still felt kind of weird and kind of bad about it. And it's just really, it messes you up. It's the indoctrination that you get from your childhood, from your past under Islam, that this is disgusting and absolutely wrong and that you cannot do it. It really messes you up and it leaves a mark. Even sometimes today, even if I don't have a problem with it at all, and if I comfortably eat pork products, sometimes when I eat something that is of pork, there is still something going on. I feel it. I don't hesitate anymore, but I feel it. So this is really, there is really something that's something interesting about this that psychology can tell us about what indoctrination does to a human. How about, well, if I am so irrationally and so severely affected by something that was indoctrinated into my head that I don't even live by anymore, that I haven't lived by for 6 years, what does it tell us about maybe so many other things that we consider common sense, that we consider normal, but that we only, that we only think about a specific way because we were indoctrinated into thinking that specific way at some point in our life because of our culture, because of our parents. Yeah, whatever. Bone Marrow Virgin said, "What are you drinking, Apostate Prophet?" I'm drinking pomegranate. I love this stuff. It's not blood. I'm lying about that. Uh, it's pomegranate juice. I really like the taste of it. Okay. Sajid SK said, Apostate Prophet, why religious people happier than others? It depends. It has nothing to do with the fact that your religion is true, because it wouldn't make sense that different religious people are on average more satisfied with life than non-religious people. But there are two issues with this. Number one, people who are religious are in a society usually happier, or according to their own admission, more satisfied, probably because they engage more in activities and come together with a community, go to the mosque, go to the church, go to temples or whatever they do, go into a community and engage in activities together, which makes them feel more fulfilled. They believe that there is something which makes them feel happier about life. But there is another issue, which is, how can you really measure happiness? If you ask a religious person, a religious Muslim, like when I was a religious Muslim, if you had asked me whether I am happy, I would have said, yes, Alhamdulillah, I'm happy. Yes, Alhamdulillah, I'm satisfied. That's what I would have said. But would I have really meant that? No. I am now happier than I was throughout the entire time when I was a religious Muslim. But if you had asked me back then, I would have said, Alhamdulillah, I'm satisfied, I'm happy. Because according to my religion, I'm supposed to learn, I'm supposed to practice that I am satisfied, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I'm good, I'm happy, yes. Even if I'm not, even if my life sucks. Whereas today I can actually be honest about how I feel. If you ask me, are you happy? I'm like, yeah, well, whatever, could be happier. Or I can say, I'm happy. So, it's really, how do you really identify whether a population is indeed happy or not? Just because they say they're satisfied, because they religiously learn that they're supposed to say they're satisfied, it's hard to tell. So, yeah, there's that. Also, I was thinking about this recently. Don't be offended, dear religious people. But, when I was born into a religious Muslim family, and from the beginning of my life, I was taught only to live in a certain way, with religion on my mind, with my religious ideas, that I was created by this almighty, all-knowing Allah, that I will live my life as a Muslim and afterwards go to heaven or hell based on my deeds and my belief. And all my choices, my rights and wrongs, and everything in life was based on that. It was based on those religious ideas that I was brought up with. So from the beginning of my life, I was given a drug, and I'm not saying, I don't mean this in a derogatory way. I don't mean this in a negative way. But I was given a drug that basically helped me how to function. That basically told me what to think about life, what to think about right and wrong. That told me what choices to make, how to walk, and. Now, I lived my life for 20 years like that, over more than 20 years like that. And then I have suddenly come to the realization that my beliefs are actually wrong, that I don't believe in it anymore, and I've stopped believing in that. Now I am out in the world. All my life, I have learned that, I have only learned to walk and make my choices with that drug that I was constantly taking, which was given to me when I was a child. And now I have thrown that drug, Islam, away. And now I'm supposed to walk by myself through life. It feels tough. And you suddenly start wondering about existentialism, about why you do things, about why you should and should not do things, about what is right and wrong. You start thinking about things based on reason with your own mind. You don't have the help of that drug anymore. So it is much easier to be devastated, to be confused about the meaning of life, to be confused about what to do, about what choices to make, whether something that you just did is right or wrong. And as such, it is much harder to say, hey, yes, I'm satisfied, yes, I'm happy, because Allah is giving me happiness, as opposed to when you are completely on your own, trying to live life meaningfully in your own way, and still questioning whether what you're doing is reasonable or not. Yeah. Too deep. Sorry. I had to rant about this right now. Okay, I hope that says something about about what you have just said. All right. Charlie Walter made a super chat and said a super chat of 50 Polish something, and said, I'm an ex-Christian agnostic, but I think that Jesus is a better example of someone to look upon as a role model than Muhammad. What do you think? P.S. Thank you for all your work. You're great. Of course, I feel the same way. When I when I observe Christians who come together in a congregation and pray and tell each other certain things that they learn from their Christian morality and their Christian way of encouraging and loving each other and forgiving each other, and I look at them and I look at their prayers, I feel like that's nice. That's how I feel. I feel like that's really nice. And I feel like there is not much harmful in the person of Jesus and his teachings in and of itself, in and of themselves. Whereas when I look at Muhammad, just if you go to a mosque and sit through a Friday prayer, you will probably hear a lot of very messed up things. The chances are very high. So Muhammad and Jesus are not even comparable. One is really, I mean, I have sympathy for the character of Jesus, whereas I don't have any for Muhammad at all, except that he was a pretty insane destroyer of lives and of worlds. Okay. Let's see. Man. A few seconds of silence. Let us have a few seconds of silence, everybody. Peter Retep said, AP, you're right about how deeply influential a worldview is. Our presuppositions control us. Becoming aware of them is helpful. Exactly. I feel like becoming aware of my biases, was... It is still going on. I can't even say I'm over that, and that took a long time. That was a struggle after leaving Islam. I would say that some of it still goes on. I mean, sometimes I still look into the world and I look at something and I feel like something that I think and feel about a specific matter is actually impacted by Islam, for example, and I haven't noticed that till now. And if something as obvious as Islam has this impact on me, then what can we say about many other cultural things, beliefs? Yep. Sunil Kumar Das said, I like your logics and reasoning, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Hazen Rose said, Du bist gut, AP. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. Ulimi Ulabi said, your thoughts on Genghis Khan. Whoa, do we want to go there? I would like to bash Muhammad. And then there's another character. There's Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was basically the secular Muhammad. Or Muhammad was basically the religious Genghis Khan. I don't know, whatever. However you want to see it. But Genghis Khan, I don't know, what can you say about him? He was one of the most feared, one of the most brutal individuals in history. Coming from a culture in which, I mean, how can you blame them? The Mongols were living in these steppes where there is not much life. There is not much that you can do. You cannot plant and grow a lot of things. You cannot really live on very much. So all they learned was to attack and kill each other as tribes. And once they found the opportunity and the power to go out of there and to invade the world, they did that under Genghis Khan. They united and started invading the world, spread fear, committed massacres, so much bloodshed just for their own survival. It's pretty messed up. Yeah. Manny said, religion poisons everything, some more softly than others. Lots of things poison lots of things. Wow, this is a very intelligent line. I want to have that as my I want to have that as my channel slogan. Lots of things poison lots of things. That's how I want to have my channel from now on. Please, somebody make a banner for me that says Apostate Prophet. Lots of things poison lots of things. How insightful, how inspiring. Lots of things poison all things. Anyway, let's see. Questions, things that I have not answered, things that I have not said, things that I have not looked at. Habibi said in a super chat of €2, thanks, you helped me to live better without Islam. That makes me feel much better. See, thank you so much. I appreciate it very much, Habibi. Stay strong. I appreciate it very much, and all the best. Much happiness, and thank you. You just made me feel much better. Spider the Ateo made a super chat and just made a super sticker with a finger up or thumbs up. Fox. Nice. RS Studio made a super chat and said, what's better, being an atheist or being religious? If atheist, then neutral atheist or God-hating atheist. And if religious, then which religion? Please answer specific, no duality requested. That's unfair. I will speak for myself. I'm probably biased in a way because of cultural issues. If I had to pick a religion out of religions, I'm going to say ahead, I do not want to pick a religion because I feel like going through life in a questioning and skeptic way the way that I have done it so far, and thinking about existence and morality and all these things by myself feels much more pleasurable than being part of a religion to me. So to answer your first question, I would say for myself, being an atheist, of course. If I thought being religious was better, well, no. If I thought maybe being religious was better, maybe I would still not be religious. I would just think being religious is better, but I would not believe in a religion. But yeah, still, for myself, I would say being an atheist is better. But a neutral atheist or a God-hating atheist. I myself am not an anti-theist. I'm just somebody who doesn't believe, but who doesn't have a problem with religion. But that is not something that I can really judge based on whether it's better or not. That's just completely up to the individual themselves to decide whether they want to be anti-religion or not. And if religious, then which religion? If I chose one religion, then I would probably choose Christianity to live by. Yeah, there I said it. I don't know, maybe if I lived somewhere else, or maybe if some religions were different, maybe I would choose an East Asian religion. Sometimes I feel like it would be nice to live by a Shintoistic or otherwise East Asian religious philosophy. I would appreciate that stuff, the disciplines and the outlook on life in there. But yeah, if I could pick, it would probably be Christianity. But I don't pick. I either believe or don't. Lucifer said, do you believe that there is a God? I don't believe that there is a God. I do not. And I will soon finally present my reasons why I don't believe in that. Gabs said, hi, do you see this comment? Yes, Gabs, I see this comment. Okay, let's see. Other questions, things that I have not answered. I will look into the normal comments. I will give precedence to super chats, but I will also respond to normal, regular chats that I see right here. Sarah Jane said, if God isn't real, why are they taking the teachings out of schools, etc., trying to bury the only truth? Well, if people don't think that it is real, and if people think that they're learning something wrong, that it is justified on their part to believe that we shouldn't be teaching something that we think is wrong, right? Whereas on your part, it is more reasonable to think, hey, no, we should put it into schools because everybody should learn about this because it is the truth. So there's really, and both sides have their own perspectives, and both sides have the justifications on why they would defend either argument. Yeah. Suvanj Willia said, AP, please say my name. I am your biggest fan. I just did. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Pastafarian Prophet said, did you crack the concept of heaven in Islam AP? What do you mean by crack? Did I crack it? Did I talk about it? Did I get it? Did I criticize it? Did I understand? I don't know. But yes. Whatever you mean, yes. I don't understand the slang, but yes. GFG said, do you like cheese? This is, I think, one of the most important questions of today's questions and answers session. I would believe this completely deserves the top, a trophy. The question comes from GFG and says, do you like cheese? Question mark. Thank you so much, GFG, for asking this question. I have been waiting for this for several weeks now. Yes, I do. I do like cheese. I hope that answers this big question. Thank you so much for asking this big question. Thank you for taking the honor, and thank you for giving me the honor. Okay. Aral said, Apostate Prophet, what is your race? As far as my ethnicity or my background is concerned, my parents are Turkish, so I am thereby, biologically speaking, of Turkish origin. I was born in Germany, which I always considered more as my home. So yeah, it's like I was a Turkish man in Germany, and now I'm a Turkish German man in, or I was a German Turkish whatever. Now I'm just a Turkish guy in America, or Turkish German guy in America, whatever it is. I'm some Asian guy. Far in 2,000 years ago, I was far in the northeast in Asia, and I was riding on horses and fighting other people right there. And my eyes were, I shouldn't do that. That's probably considered racism nowadays. Should I do that? Is this considered offensive? Is this considered racism? Should I do it? I will not do it. I will not do it. I'm scared. I will not be called a racist. I don't want to be called a racist. Okay. Can I please calm down? Okay. Hamza said, Apostate Prophet, do you love your parents? I do. I do. I am very thankful that my parents made me and that they raised me and that they gave me lots of good things as they raised me. Even if I also think they gave me lots of bad things when they raised me, which is a normal part of life. When my child grows up, he will probably look back and think, hey, you gave me a lot of good things, but you also gave me a lot of bad things. It's just part of life. People don't always have the truth. We are all imperfect. And insofar, my parents gave me good things. They gave me love. They gave me good stuff. I appreciate that, and I love them, of course. Yeah. No question. And see, my parents are Muslims. How could I be an Islamophobic person? How could I be a bigot? Okay. Hey AP, which is more tasty, cow meat or pork meat? Asked by Lucifer. I would still say cow meat. I like cow meat more. I appreciate cow meat. Cow meat. Do you say cow meat? It's just beef. I like beef more than pork. Yeah. But it's probably because I'm a biased ex-Muslim who knows that pork is indeed filthy and comes from Satan, and that people who eat pork become perverted. As Zakir Naik has said, people who eat pork become like pork and start giving their wives, lending their wives to their neighbors and having sex orgies and stuff like that. If you eat something, then you start becoming like the thing that you eat, which is why if you eat pork, pigs have no shame. They just share their partners with others, and they just make out with each other. So if you eat pork, you will also end up sharing your partners, your wives and your husbands with others. That's what Zakir Naik said, and how dare we suggest that Zakir Naik does not speak the truth. Zakir Naik is the best. So yeah, there's that. Love All My Moms said, Apostate Prophet, German language test. Was würdest du reagieren, wenn dein Nachwuchs zum Islam konvertiert? See, I misread it. Wie würdest du reagieren, wenn dein Nachwuchs zum Islam konvertiert? This is a German language test by Love All My Moms. And the question is, how would you react if your offspring converted to Islam? Nice. Wie würde ich reagieren? Ich würde ganz normal reagieren. Ich wäre vielleicht ein bisschen enttäuscht, zu wissen, dass mein Kind zum Islam konvertiert, wobei meine Kinder wissen sollten, was ich gegenüber dem Islam empfinde, und sie sollten see, I'm mixing English into German. This is incredible. Meine Kinder sollten etwas informiert darüber sein, dass der Islam aggressiv und hasserfüllt ist, weil sie mich kennen und weil sie vielleicht wissen, all das wissen, worüber ich spreche. Von daher wäre ich enttäuscht, aber ich würde es ihnen auch, ich würde es tolerieren, wenn meine Kinder zum Islam konvertieren. And now I will say all of that in English. Of course, why not? No, tell me how I did on my German language test. No, I basically said if my kids converted to Islam, I would probably be a little bit disappointed, because they know how I feel about Islam, and they should probably know a little bit about all the stuff that I say about Islam, so they should know how hateful it is and violent. Nevertheless, I would understand and tolerate the choices of my offspring. That's basically what I said. Yeah, roughly. Okay, let's see how I did on my German test. Someone said German, lovely hard eyes, thumbs up. Dein Deutsch ist immer noch gut. Danke, Lukas 50. Das freut mich sehr. Olimi Ulabi said, wow, his German is so great, thank you. Freidenker said, Deutsch. Buy me blue pills said, oh, your German is so lovely, thank you. Mittwoch said, das klingt so schön, thank you, dankeschön. Wow, nice, good. I did a German test live here. From now on, I will stop making English videos, and I will only make German videos from now on. Thanks everybody for supporting my English work so far. You have supported me thus far, but from now on I will have to switch to German, because I just got into the mood and I like it now. So yeah, there is that. Okay, but thank you so much. Low-key Rage said, the bad things they gave you. Low-key made a super chat of £5 and said, the bad things they gave you means you will not give those bad things to your children, so therefore they gave you good things, right? Good perspective. That's a very optimistic perspective. Well, in the end, we are all beings who try to struggle and to try to live life as we think it is right. And in doing so, when we make children, we give our own children what we think is right, or at least we try to. And some of these things turn out to be bad. And that's just completely normal. Unless somebody really is abusive of their children, that's a completely different, dark issue. But yeah, I don't hate my parents for making mistakes or giving me stuff that I really didn't want to have in my life, and that's I think is a much healthier way to look at life, to just appreciate and forgive and all that. I appreciate your input very much, Loki Rage. Thank you. Black Angel said, in welcher Stadt hast du gelebt? That means in German, in which city did you live? I lived in the southwest of Germany, in Baden-Württemberg, close to Stuttgart. Very lovely places. Very lovely. Very sweet. Yeah, that's where I lived. Peter Retap said, Apostate Prophet, what presuppositions make you conclude that there is no God? Are those presuppositions open to challenge? I wouldn't call them presuppositions. There are just certain matters, like religions that introduce God to us, give us a certain system of morality. And simply solely judging by that morality, and especially by that morality's definition of goodness, it is hard for me to consider that a God exists and that this God is by definition good. I can talk about this. Sorry if I just made a noise. I just punched my microphone. But I will love to talk about this lengthily. I would like to discuss this with somebody who does believe in God. I would like to discuss this in a video, but. Think about it this way. God created you as a human being, according to Christianity and Islam, let's say. According to these religions, God created all humans and created a temporary life for them, created a world for them, created a heaven and a hell for them. In Islam, this hell is very explicit. In Christianity, it is not that explicit, but it's mentioned as a place of suffering, or a place where people will be punished or suffer, where they will be separated, shamed, whatever it is. But think about it. God is supposed to be almighty, all-knowing, and good. God creates me as an individual and puts me onto this life and gives me two paths, good and bad, belief and disbelief, not good and bad, belief and disbelief. If I believe, then I will go to heaven and will be the good guy. If I disbelieve, then I will go to hell and stay there because I have disbelieved, I have failed my mission. Now, these religions justify this whole system by saying that God gave us free will. And with that free will, with this chance that he gave us, we are supposed to use our free will in the right way and make the right decision for which God will reward us, or make the wrong decision and be immoral, a disbeliever, for which God will punish us. But long before God created me, long before God planned creating me, before he planned creating my free will, God already knew. If we were to believe that he created us, God already knew that if he did create me, and if he gave me that free will which he wants to give me, I would eventually make the wrong decision and go to hell. And it's like, long before I decided that, long before I agreed to any of this, long before I started breathing, long before my parents, long before the first human started, God already made that decision to create me, knowing that in the end, I will use my free will in the wrong way and go to hell and burn there forever. Now think about it from the perspective of you or me. If I had the choice to create somebody, or to create a sensitive human, or to create a sensitive being, and I created these two worlds for him, that's entirely my creation, and I said, okay, I will create this guy now. If he makes the wrong choice, he will go to hell and be punished there forever. If he makes a good choice, that means he's good, and I will reward him forever. But I know that if I give him the choice, I see. If I give him the choice, I know that he will make a mistake. He will take the wrong turn. He will go to hell and he will burn. Well, whatever. I'll just create him. And I create him and he will burn forever and I will punish him forever. This is my creation. I created his ability to make a mistake. I created his ability to question and to disbelieve. I created the punishment for which he gets for disbelieving, which is eternal hell. I created hell. Why did I create hell? I created this temporary system. Why did I create it? I could have just, if I wanted to be recognized or worshipped or whatever it is, I could have just created a heaven and put those humans into that heaven, let them do whatever they want, give them free will, let them just do whatever they want, let them live there and reward them like that. But I instead created sensitive beings and punished them forever for making a wrong choice and disbelieving. I punished them forever with hell, although they are supposed to be flawed as I created them. Who of us considers it moral? Which one of us considers it good, moral, compassionate, beautiful to eternally condemn somebody for making a simple mistake, to eternally condemn somebody for making a bad mistake, to eternally never forgive somebody? We are all taught by these same religions, especially by Christianity, to forgive others. We are all taught to forgive people for making mistakes, for making big mistakes, for making grave mistakes, for killing us. We are taught to forgive them. But my Creator, who is the most compassionate, the most forgiving, who knew everything from the very beginning, who created right and wrong, created heaven and hell, created the world, created me, will not forgive me because I was ignorant and I didn't understand, I didn't believe in him, because I tried and I didn't believe in him because I wasn't convinced. And he will not forgive me for that, and he will burn me forever. None of us would consider that good. None of us would consider that moral if others in our society did that. But we are somehow to believe that this God created everything, that he is the truth, that he is the answer, that he is all-knowing, almighty, and whatever it is. I simply cannot believe that. This is not about science. It's not about evidence. It's not about any of that. It is simply about simple logic and morality. Logically and morally, the belief in God the belief of God in these religions is inconsistent within itself. I don't care about scientific arguments or, about scientific arguments regarding whether God exists or not. I think they're a complete waste of time. They don't do anything at all. No one has ever been convinced, or maybe a few people, but most people are never convinced by these scientific refutations or arguments for God. But this whole logical, moral inconsistency, simply, it cannot be solved. Whatever you say, you will not get out of this. And I cannot believe in God when that is the case. Yep. Peter Rittap said, is it unjust for God to allow us to suffer the consequences of our free choices? Do we know God's reasons clearly enough to act as his judge? We don't need to know his reasons. He created our free choices. He created our ability to make those choices. He created us as flawed beings. He created us as beings who have free will, who can make those choices. He created this whole system. There is no reason at all. No reason. It's completely ridiculous. There is no reason at all for God to create this whole system to begin with. That's a very messed up thing, a very messed up idea. A very messed up idea. It is a very messed up idea. Whatever you want to say. What do you want to say? It was because of sin, because of ignorance, because of rebellion, whatever it is. These are petty things for God. This is a messed up idea. I was never this open about this, I guess. Yeah. Oh, and I would really, I'm not just speaking here by myself in an echo chamber, I hope. I would really love to sit down and debate this lengthily with with somebody, with a Christian apologist. I would love to do that. I would really love to do that. I would love to see how this works out in me presenting my criticism, my skepticism, and the other side presenting their arguments for God. I would really, really love to have that exchange. It would be very nice. It would be very useful. Okay, enough of that. Anti-Money Cup said, speaking of German, are you aware of the channel Achse Ost-West? He is an ex-Muslim doing Crowder-style Change My Mind videos in Berlin, and he's great. Yes, I know of him. I don't follow very much, but I used to watch some of the stuff that he did in the past, and I found him very interesting. Yeah. Arc Soulfire said, why not talk to David Wood about it? I don't want to talk to David Wood about... I don't want to be confronted with David Wood in convincing each other or the crowd on whether God exists or not. I don't know why. I have this thing with people, with someone like David Wood that I have such a good relationship with. I would kind of, I don't want to get into that, but maybe we could do that if he ever wants to. I don't know. MS said, do you believe in free will? It depends on how you define free will. It really depends on how you define free will. We are very much in life. I mean, psychology and neuroscience are very recent fields, very recent sciences that give us so many answers about about the world, about morality, about so many things that we didn't know before. And we know now that we are so much at the mercy of our biology, of our neurotransmitters, of our environment. And insofar, free will is to an extent very limited. We are very much bound to act according to what we learned. And in some way we are free. Some would say we are not free at all. So that's a whole deep discussion. Yeah. Allah knows best. Mittwoch 14 said, 14th said, you guys are such good friends. Oh, that's about David Wood and me. Thank you. Yeah, it's very nice. I like having exchanges with him. It's always a lot of fun. Okay. Yulia Sergeyevna said, so there is no justice, AP. There is no justice. No, there is no justice. Whether there is religion or there is no religion, there is no justice. I feel like one of the big flaws in people arguing about belief is that they kind of want to believe that there is some form of that there must be some justice, some eternal justice in the world, in life, but there simply is not. People don't want to believe that somebody who did terrible things in life will just get away with that and will not be punished after death. People want to believe that someone who did great things in life will not be rewarded after death. People want to believe that things continue in one way or another after they die. They don't want to believe that things will just go on without them after they die. But that's what everybody thought for millennia. And that's, as it seems, what it is about. Yeah. DNA Waterbag said, "How would intelligent alien life change things?" Oh man, man. I said that recently. I mean, for so long, our ideas were based on the wrong idea, the wrong assumptions that we live in a world where we are on this ground, and when we have a world around us, around which there are these small stars and objects and whatever it is, then we learned to believe that that the sun is actually this big object. Then we learned to believe that everything revolves around the Earth. Then that everything revolves around the sun. And then humans noticed that we were wrong all along, and that the universe is actually very huge. That there are so many more planetary systems and galaxies. And what if we soon find out that there is intelligent life on a different planet? What will we then do with all our arrogant, egoistic ideas? Seriously. Yeah. Why am I getting into all these things today? Yeah. Okay. Mellow Fellow said, "So Hitler committed suicide at the last moment and he got away with it?" Yes, he did. Yeah. I mean, he got away with it in the sense of that he will not be punished afterwards. As far as we can see, yes. We're just seeing it this way because we want to assume that there must be something afterward where he will be punished. But did he really get away with it? Not really. I mean, he committed suicide. He killed himself. He was removed from the head of Germany. His country suffered. He is remembered for almost a century soon as a terrible individual who has left such a terrible mark on society. His name is disgraced. People who like him are disgraced. So did he really get away with it physically and all that? Yeah, but, not entirely. If you want to see it that way. Andromeda said, "Rıdvan iyi yayınlar diliyorum." Thank you so much. That means wish you a good stream. Davy John said, "Are you a fan of Apostate Prophet? Are you a fan of Nietzsche?" Yes, in a way. I've been listening to Nietzsche a lot recently. I've always found him very interesting, and recently I have been I'm recently listening to a bunch of stuff on Nietzsche and reading a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I've always liked his approach to morality and to existentialism, although he has said some things that are nowadays not considered entirely great or accurate. But I feel like when I look into the history of philosophy, he's definitely one individual that I would so much relate to and so much appreciate. Yep. Dixon David said, "Apostate Prophet, what is the status on the rebuttal to Golden Boy hijab? Are you considering to invite Mufti Abu Layth to set the record straight?" Mufti Abu Layth is he's kind of a dummy. He's kind of a dummy. He's not a very bright person. I don't know what to say. He said a few things about me. He was quite idiotic in how he acted, and talked about things that he has no clue about. Talked about me when he has no clue about me. I responded to him, analyzed his thoughts, kind of made remarks about how his thoughts are not very bright, how he doesn't really understand the stuff that he talks about, except when it comes to things that he has memorized about Islam. In response, he said, I think he said that he didn't watch my video and that he will not watch my video, and that he will not take me seriously from now on, and stuff like that. I don't know. He's a very strange person. I don't know. I used to follow him thinking, hey, I like to see an eccentric, reformist, different, deviant Muslim scholar. But after seeing how he got so excited and nervous that fundamentalist Muslim apologists put him under the same roof as ex-Muslims like me, seeing how he then started attacking us ex-Muslims and critics of Islam, I just kind of think he's kind of a hypocrite, you know. But at least he did one good thing. He gave me the title Mufti Apus, which I am always proud of, which I will carry with pride. I should put that behind there somewhere. Mufti Apus. I am Mufti Apus. Yeah. And yeah, Ryan Edwards said, are you still owning the Mufti Apus name? Yes, I am. I feel like we have talked about a lot of things today, or I have. You can hear it. My throat feels awful. So maybe we should come to an end soon. Vansh Negi made a super chat and said, what do you think of Hinduism? Will you visit India? I answered this last time about Hinduism. You can watch the first stream, but all in all, I mean, it's a belief that I don't agree with and that I don't consider fulfilling. I think that to an extent it is unproductive and superstitious. On the other side, I appreciate that it is so deep and that it's not built on violent missionary activities. That's basically what I think about it. Would I ever visit India? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Pravar Chaturvedi said, have your parents accepted the way you are, like being an atheist and running channel on Islam? They have not accepted it, but then they have told me that they will never accept it. But I still have some contact with them and some, basic relationship with them. Yeah. Low-key Rage made a super chat and said, the bad things they gave you. I responded to this. Did I miss other super chats again? Maybe, yeah. In a minuet made a super chat of £10 and didn't say anything about that at all. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, I should be leaving. Bart Connolly said, Apostate Prophet, is Nietzsche is someone you can read again and again forever. That's Superman. It's like, yeah, you can study his thoughts forever. It's very nice. It's very nice. I feel like much of philosophy is a bunch of nonsense. That sounds harsh. That's not how I mean it. I would be very arrogant if I said that. But what I'm trying to say is, if you look into much of philosophy, philosophers have forever spent a lot of time discussing, trying to justify their own belief systems and trying to justify their, why things are the way that they are, or why things must be the way they believe things are. Whereas Nietzsche, I believe, Nietzsche has more of a seeker attitude. He's really out there, going against the norms and trying to going under every stone, and really digging into everything, questioning everything, trying to lead humans toward making a more authentic meaning in life that is free from imposing your will upon others and imposing your doctrines upon others. Whereas he also thinks that people do everything that they do because they have a will to power. But yeah, long story short, yes, you can read Nietzsche forever. Okay, let's see. Final thoughts. John Goat made a super chat and said, of €2 and said, hot, cold, up, down, life, death. What? Hot, cold, up, down, life, death, injustice. Justice? Are you trying to say that since there is an opposite of injustice, which is justice, that there must be also a justice in the world? Yeah, but that wouldn't really. I mean, if you're going to, there must be also an eternal justice in the world. I wouldn't say that really follows from that argument, unless you're trying to say something completely unrelated. But yeah, if there's injustice in the world, then there's also justice, human-made justice in response to that. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't believe that there's some eternal justice or eternal injustice in the world. Anyway, we talked so much about these whole complicated things. Okay, I will leave. And I appreciate everybody joining here. I will hopefully publish a brief, short video later today, and that will be it for today. Axel Antic said, what do you think about Richard Dawkins? I appreciate him. I like the fact that he is firm against Islam and firm in his ideas that are not influenced by the politically correct currents of our time. He was recently cancelled because he is because of his ideas about Islam, which is very funny. He was recently disinvited because he is such an opponent of Islam, whereas he was never disinvited, never attacked, never cancelled for being so harsh against Christianity. He can say whatever he wants about Christianity, and it will be appreciated and seen as constructive, as modern, as progressive, as good, as welcomed. But oh, how dare you criticize Islam? How dare you criticize Islamic culture? Man, people are hypocrites. Okay, I will be leaving. Otherwise, I will be hanging out here forever. Harold taught me the super chat, last one. Said, did Muhammad commit incest by doing it with his first cousin Zainab? Technically, yes. That's kind of, that's first cousin incest. Yeah, so. But so do many others for which Muhammad is responsible. Okay, anyway, I will go. I will leave. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you for this stream. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your compliments, for your criticism, for your praises, and for your insults. Don't forget to like the stream before you leave. Let me know if you want to tell me anything important else after I am done. I should be here again next week for a 2, which is Apostate Tuesday. This is your host, Mufti Apus, and have a good day. And please, stay away from Islam. Dum, 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 dum. What if I turn on the